So, it's 6:20 now, and I've actually spent a long time finishing off this scene of the animation so far, and the results are absolutely fantastic. And would you like to see the whole scene with Homer coming in and pinching the beer? You know you want to. So here it is. This is 94 pictures. So this is made up of 94 still images, this particular bit. So here we go, and I'll show you it right now. Oh, sorry. I'll show you it right now, so here we are. And I'm very pleased with that. Notice it's actually quite funny really, the way Homer comes in and picks up the beer. He's obviously tempted by it, but then as soon as he picks it up, he legs it and he's out of there, and he's really pleased with himself. See, he's really pleased with himself there. Just picks up the beer. That's really crafty. Jammy devil, Homer Simpson. Anyway, I hope to continue with this animation process tomorrow, or maybe the day after, I'm not sure yet. And then I'll end up doing the next bit of the animation. So let me see, I've actually completed quite a bit of this animation so far. So going back here, I've completed all that lot. That's fantastic. That's about 5 scenes done. It's quite a lot there actually. So here we are. Homer walks back on the screen and he's walking along the pavement. He walks past Bose, and then that's when he notices a donut truck which is heading in the opposite direction. And then he's ended up being intrigued by the donuts. He's tempted, and then he walks towards the donut truck. So that's the scene. I'll hopefully animate next time. So, I mean, that really will be fantastic. Oh, don't want to lose my work. So I better be careful with this now. It's 6:50 now, and there's one thing I've got to mention to you. You've always got to be careful. If you've got work on your on Inchworm Animation, make sure to save it, because if anything goes wrong, like it did just then, you end up losing your work. And luckily it was only that little sequence that I was working on, but it was still annoying, and now I've had to reanimate the whole lot again. Just this one sequence. So I've had to reanimate this again, because that's when the 3DS fell down there, and for some reason one of the buttons must have been accidentally pressed as it fell, and I lost that sequence where Homer comes in, takes the beer and walks off with it. So that was really frustrating. So you could consider that when you're watching this behind the scenes footage right now. You can actually think of that as a kind of outtake, really. But obviously I've lost that, and I've had to reanimate it, so that's been really annoying. I've had to be careful with these little Homers here, because basically, I've got to be careful because I don't want to lose it again. These are only small, these little arms. I've had to put a little bit of glue tack on there and then stick it on there. But if you keep peeling it off, it's not actually going to do it any good, is it? It's not really going to do it the world of good. It's going to end up tearing the paper, and I really don't want that, because I've got to use this several more times yet in the animation project. Anyway, I reanimated this scene, so here's the reanimated version. So it's not really a lot different from the one that I originally had. So here it is. It's 6:50 now, and here is the reanimated sequence with Homer stealing the Duff beer. So this is 70 photographs that I've had to do. Bear in mind, this is a redo. So here we are. This is the one that I spent ages doing this. I wanted to try and get it back, and I cannot believe I could be so stupid as to let that 3DS fall. But never mind, I've got this one again. I just have to make sure I save it this time before any accidents and end up losing work, because we don't want to lose the animation. I don't want to lose parts of this animation at all, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to concentrate, and I'm going to make sure I save this time. Right, so this part of the animation is actually shown on my DS right now, and I'm just going to very carefully, right, so in order to export this on the SD card as bitmap images, you press the select button, and being very careful, because if I lose this again, I'm going to have to stand here and animate it again from scratch. And I do not want to do that. I didn't really enjoy it that time, reanimating that. Anyway, I'm going to concentrate right now, so I'm going to choose SD Export. And then I'm going to export this part of the animation. So therefore, I need to choose on this menu, Animation. The next one is BMP sequence. Then it will be exported as individual images to be opened with the free paint software on the computer. So BMP sequence, and then as you can see it's still up there. I haven't lost it just yet, but I just have to be really careful now, because that was an absolute nightmare reanimating that. I tell you what, didn't really enjoy it that much at all. I enjoyed it the first time round, but not the second time. So I'm going to choose the image type. So I'm going to choose screenshot and be very careful. And the name of the folder for which I'm going to store these images in is MOEs. And then right after entering the name MOEs, because that's the folder that these images will be stored on the SD card, and I'll be able to access that via my laptop at some point when I've finished the actual animation itself. So I've chosen MOEs as the folder, so that will go in hopefully with all the other images for the animation so far. I'm going to click OK now. Very careful, because I want to save these and I don't want to lose them. There we go. Hopefully now it will be exporting them for me. So it's exporting files, 70 images in total, and as you can see, I think it's safe to say that that animation now, this reanimate, the bit that I've just reanimated, I think it's safe to say that this is actually going to be fairly safe. So thank goodness for that. I wouldn't want to go through all that again. Oh man, that was terrible. So tomorrow I'll try and continue with the animation if possible, and I'll have to make sure to save it next time, and be very careful, because any buttons pushed on this actual DS, you risk losing information. I'll risk losing all the images if I'm not careful. So I'm going to be careful with that. So I'll hopefully continue with this tomorrow, and then that's when I'll begin with the very next animated sequence. So please continue watching if you're interested, and that's when I'll actually continue with that. And it's 7 o'clock now, so I'm going to go and get some dinner, so I'm getting hungry. All this animating, it really does make you hungry.